So, let's talk about marketing. If you feel like just getting your business noticed is getting harder and harder every year, I'm here to tell you, you're not going crazy. It is. But the answer isn't about shouting louder, it's about playing a totally different game.
So let's just ask the question straight up. Is getting attention actually getting harder? It's what every real estate pro is thinking, right? Are we all just yelling into the wind? Well, that feeling is definitely real, but the answer isn't just a simple yes. It's a little more complicated than that.
And here it is. This is the big idea we have to get our heads around. It's not that people have less attention to give. It's that the cost of earning that attention, your time, your money, your creative energy, is going through the roof. The old way of just pumping out more and more content, yeah, that's hitting a wall. Hard.
Okay, so if the old playbook is officially broken, what's next? Well, we are stepping into a whole new era. And it comes with a completely new set of rules. And listen, this isn't about making a few small changes here and there. It's about totally rethinking how we show up and get noticed in the first place. And when you put the two side by side, the difference is, well, it's night and day. The old playbook was all about spectacle, right? Be loud, make a lot of noise, just crank up the volume. But the new game, it's the complete opposite. It's about having a real strategy, creating things of actual quality, and having a clear, undeniable intent behind everything you put out there. So what does this big shift from just making noise to actually having a strategy look like in the real world? Well, let's take a look at one of the biggest marketing events of the entire year, the Super Bowl. You'd think that's the absolute peak of spectacle, right? But even on that massive stage, things are changing. It's moving away from just grabbing attention to making these really smart strategic moves. You see, brands aren't just buying a 30-second ad anymore. They're using this huge platform to make a statement. You've got newcomers like Liquid IV who are there to plant a flag and say, we own this space now. Then you've got the veterans, the returners, who are back because they have the data that proves it works. The Super Bowl has turned into a launch pad for a brand's entire story for the year, not just some one-off stunt. And this right here is the key for your business. It doesn't matter if you're launching $1 million listing or just trying to build your name in the community, the lesson is exactly the same. Don't just chase eyeballs for the sake of it. Make absolutely sure that when you do get that moment of attention, it actually means something. Now, this whole shift towards substance, it's not just a trend you see in big budget ads. It's actually being built directly into the DNA of the platforms we use every single day. The algorithms on places like X and YouTube are getting way smarter, and they're starting to reward quality and focus over those old, cheap tricks. Take X, what we used to call Twitter. The feed of your post is now decided in just a few minutes. The algorithm is looking at something called dwell time. That's how long somebody literally stops scrolling to read what you wrote. Why? Because a like is easy, it's cheap, but getting someone to stop their thumb from scrolling, that signals real interest. And that means those old tricks, like posting vague questions just to get replies, are losing their punch.
So what's the big takeaway here? It's simple. Treat every single post like it's a first impression. Because for a lot of people, it will be. Does it have a purpose? Does it offer real value? Is it designed to earn genuine attention? The intent behind your post now matters so much more than how often you're posting.
And you know what? It's a very similar story over at YouTube. They are actively shifting from being just another social app to becoming a full-blown media network. They're all in on TV-style viewing and long-form content that has real substance. For agents who are already creating helpful market explainers or deep dives into their local neighborhoods, you're perfectly positioned for where YouTube is going. Their motto is scale with restraint. It's about quality, not just quantity. Okay, so we've established we need a clear strategy and we need real substance. But how do we actually use that to cut through all the noise and build trust with people? Well, it all comes down to one word: relevance, especially when you're talking about local markets. I'm sure you've heard this one. It is everywhere right now. This idea that new AI tools are about to make Google search, and by extension your website, completely useless. It's a pretty scary thought, right? But let's actually look at the data. So what's really going on? The panic-inducing headlines are screaming about search traffic dropping by 25, 40, even 60%. But the actual data from a massive analysis tells a much, much different story. Organic search traffic is down just 2.5%. This is not an apocalypse. It's a slight adjustment. So here's the bottom line. Search is not dead.
Not even close. But your strategy for search now matters more than ever before. Generic, thin content is going to get buried. But content that is hyper-local, that answers specific, high-intent questions, and that's based on your actual experience as an expert, that kind of content is more valuable than ever. And being relevant isn't just about keywords. Think about what's actually happening in your community. When a big winter storm is on the way, sharing useful safety tips or how to prep your home, that shows you're a trusted local resource. You're building trust by being part of the community, not just trying to make a sale. All right, we've gone from the Super Bowl to social media algorithms to local search. Now let's pull all these different threads together and weave them into one single strategy you can actually use for your business. If there is just one word, one single idea to take away from all of this, it's this one: restraint. Seriously, from the biggest brands to the smallest social media post, the winning play isn't about doing more. It is about doing the right things with a very clear purpose and always focusing on giving your audience value. That's how you get a better ROI, that's how you get better leads, and that's how you build a brand that lasts. So here it is, your game plan for 2026 and beyond. First, start with intention. Before you hit publish on anything, ask yourself why you're making it. Second, build with consistency. Trust isn't built in a day. You have to show up over and over again as a reliable source of good information. And finally, you win with relevance. Connect to what's actually happening in people's lives and in your community. So I'll just leave you with this final question to think about. Take a hard look at your marketing. Are you strategically earning the attention of the right people, or are you just chasing it, throwing things out there and hoping something sticks? Because in 2026, the difference between those two approaches, well, it's going to be everything.